dating apps. If you're single, you probably know what I'm talking about. And if you aren't single, well, you definitely did at some point. So I have a hot take for you today. Ready? Here we go. Now we had to work to build our social status and earn our food. So asking a woman out over a nice dinner required more effort than just walking up to her and saying, hey, you. So men would travel from city to city trying to woo women who they barely knew. They would bring them shiny rocks from faraway places and tell them amazing stories about their adventures and battles. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and it became harder to find a mate because now you actually had to put some effort into it. When you use a dating app, you put your best pictures on there, the ones where you look the best and like you have the most status. And women are doing the same thing. So when you meet up with a woman from a dating app, you're both lower status than you presented yourselves as. And that's why so many people are unhappy with dating apps. They're looking for a high status mate, but they're presenting themselves as low status. How did it go? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. And then you swipe right on all the women you want to date. Just order something cheap and leave a good tip. That way you won't look like you're trying too hard to impress her. Then the app matches you with the women that are swiped right on you. All you had to do was walk up to a cave woman and say, hey! And if two people are matched, then they can message each other and maybe meet up and view pictures of all the women in the world and message the ones that they liked. And this was great because now you could find your perfect mate from the comfort of your cave without having to travel or put on clothes or do any work at all. But it was still pretty easy if you were worthy. Back in the day, you could just walk up to a woman and ask her out. And if she said yes, great. If she said no, move on. But now it's more complicated than that. Caveman explains dating apps. So now you had to work up the courage to approach a woman and actually talk to her and ask her out. And many farmers didn't even bother. They just found a woman who was willing to do the work of gathering berries, and they settled down with her and never even asked her out. And honestly, that was probably the best option. So back in the day, getting a mate was pretty easy. You just had to walk up to a cave woman and say, hey, ooga booga wooga, which means, hey, beautiful, what's your name? Then she would tell you her name, and then you would ask her to go gather berries with you. And if she said yes, that meant she liked you. And if she said no, you just moved on to the next cave woman and repeated the process until you found one that said yes. It was really simple. Then Fi was invented and we got a little more sophisticated. Now we had to impress our potential mates. So we started bringing them shiny rocks, lighting up the night sky. We built giant structures and aligned them with the stars. We created cave paintings depicting our love for them and our hunting prowess. We even tamed wild horses and rode them through the grassland like the majestic kings that we are. But still, even with all those advances, finding a mate was still pretty easy. You just had to be worthy of her and show her that you were. But then the wheel was invented and life got busy. But then farming was invented and now we had to work even more. And women started wearing clothes and covering up and not being directly available. But then cities were invented and now there were way more people around and a lot less land for gathering berries. And then came the age of technology. Now men could sit in their caves by themselves. But here's the hot take. All of these inventions made it harder to find a mate. So here's how it works. But here's the thing. When you put your best pictures on the app, you're representing yourself as a higher status man than you actually are. So my advice is this. When you go on a date with a woman from a dating app, don't order the most expensive things on the menu. Oh, dating apps. I remember when it was easier to find a mate. Have you ever used a dating app?